It is so important for you to get to know who you are so you could get to know where you need to go and where you want to go, where you're in line to go. And I can honestly say that when you get to know who you are, you also get to know parts of you in the past that wanted to speak up. You also get to know parts of you that was trying to, you may want to figure out like, why were you accepting what were you accepting in the past? So getting to know you is, like, I would say, step one to any journey that you're on. And if you're new here, my name is Coach AJ, Dope Life Coach, the dopest life coach out there. And this is the Dope Life Podcast. And welcome. So for the next 7 episodes, we're going to be running down my 7 pillars of living and loving a dope life. Now, I personally live by these pillars, and they have helped me become the person I am today, and they also help me maintain it and also keep growing. And these 7 pillars are important because I think we all kind of need a bit of a roadmap to be our best self, but also maintain that at the same time. I think when we think about, we could say 6 months from now, you're going to be X, Y, and Z. Now you've made that sacrifice for 6 months, but the most important component in all of that is not just the fact that you made it, it's how you're going to maintain it. So we're going to go through a couple of steps in today's episode. We're going to start off with the very first pillar, which is get to know yourself. And if you've been rocking with me for a very long time, you know that getting to know who you are is important. So as always, let's go ahead and get right into it. So when you think about yourself, I want you to think about yourself as like a blank slate at this moment. Not everything that people have, conditioned you to think a certain way or believe a certain way, but I want you to think of like you just being a complete blank slate. And then when you do that, I want you to think about what characteristics do you want to have? If you were to like draw yourself, what would you look like? What would you see yourself doing in the future? Be very specific. What kind of vacations would you take? What would be your job, your career? What would be your aspirations? The point of that is many of us think that we have to stay the way we've been taught, that we can't alter it a little bit. You can so alter all of it if you'd like. You're allowed to start off on a blank slate and say, you know what, I don't really know who I am right now, and I want to get to know who I am right now, and I want to start building that person. With that, it takes steps, but more importantly, by getting to know you, you get to know where you want to be, who you are, and also it allows you to tap into where you wanted to be even before, because there's chances are like that person in the past still wants to be seen in your future. And there's nothing wrong with tapping into that just a tad bit. I know people say don't look back to move forward, but I always say it's okay to move back if it's going to help you move forward. And that, I think, is where your past can play a very like intricate part in you getting to know who you are. Now, obviously, getting to know who you are is self-reflection. And self-reflection is such a great way to check in with yourself, check in with your wants and your needs. I personally self-reflect on a regular basis. I'll ask myself, what do I need? What are my wants? What am I not getting enough of? Chances are you may not be giving yourself enough credit, love, compassion, kindness. And that's a good moment for you to check in. Even just asking yourself, is my cup full at the moment? Such a simple, simplistic, but yet powerful question. Is my cup full at this very moment? Do I need to fill it more? What steps can I take to fill it more? Why have I been neglecting my cup? How can I make sure I maintain my cup just a little bit more compared to where I am right now? While I'm saying these questions out loud, you're probably thinking, oh, yeah, I probably have to check in with myself just a bit more. And this is not like a feminine and masculine thing. I think that it's a people thing. Everybody should always be checking in with themselves, because we will be able to understand if there's certain holes or pockets that need to be filled. See, like self-reflection and checking in with yourself and getting to know yourself as that. Now, you may find that it's a little bit scary, primarily because it's just kind of like something you've probably never done before. And you may be like, well, I don't know how to get to know myself. I'm not too sure where to start. You could also start with your passions. What are you passionate about? Well, I don't know. I'm passionate about gardening. Boom. Boom. We live in a great age now of technology where you can go on your phone and find groups that like to go gardening, go to the botanical gardens and stuff like that, and look at other people's gardens. We live in a day and age now where you can tap into people who are into running groups, walking groups, chess, cooking classes. You could even do them virtually, right? Like there's so many activities that you can do that could fuel your passions, and you could try it. And if you don't like it, you try and try again, right? You just keep trying again. So part of getting to know yourself is getting to know also your DNA as well. And it's also getting to know what are your own non-negotiables. What are you no longer willing to accept in certain relationships and connections? And I'm not just talking any type of romantic, I mean in friendships. As you get older, at least as I found, as we get older, everybody is going through something. So these relationships and connections that you are in can change and they can move, right? Because literally everybody is going through something. Your circle could shrink. And as you get older, that's okay. That's okay. My mother always said that it's good to have at least 5 people. You know, if you have at least a handful of friends, you're good. By getting to know yourself, you also may find out I may want to connect with other people. I may have my key core group, and I want to create a core group that's connect to my passions and connect to my hobbies. Ultimately, getting to know you is asking yourself a bunch of questions, checking in with yourself, talking to yourself. Although many may say, that's kind of weird, you're talking to yourself. I've saved myself a ton of time by just checking in with myself and speaking to myself. Is this a good idea? Is this not a good idea? Should I do this? Should I do that? And even just writing it down versus acting on it and realizing I should have known better. This is not for me. So number 1 of my 7 pillars of living a dope life is getting to know you. And as you could tell, it is a huge portion of our lives by just getting to know who we are, what are we about, why do we make the decisions we make. It's a massive map that can lead and connect to so many parts of your life, whether it's personal, professional, your personal growth, your self-improvement journey, even your healing journey. It can place such many pieces on that chessboard that could help you in many ways. So I ask you, how will you get to know yourself just a little bit more today? What steps are you willing to take? And how are you going to implement it more and more and regularly into your routine or into your schedule? All right, y'all. So today was episode 1 of our series of the 7 pillars of living and loving your dope life. And we start off with pillar number 1, which is get to know you. And, you know, by all means, in the comments, go ahead and answer the question that I asked. I would love to know and interact with you and get to know what plan do you have after this episode to start getting to know yourself far, far, far more. All right, y'all. So I'll see you next week. As always, walk with peace and walk with love.